Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Monday the 20th of November comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar. We see here the dollar just falling away somewhat, so we're still bearish below the cloud on the short term. Having made it through the cloud on the price, we're hitting resistance here. So dollar is still bearish short term on the charts, and the medium term hitting resistance. So not clear yet that we're seeing a long-term recovery in the dollar. Euro is just tipped below the cloud, so we are just seeing also the euro is a bit weaker this morning on German political uncertainty, but we are seeing still that the euro is holding up quite well. Japanese yen weaker, the dollar weaker here as well. So at the moment, dollar is just showing that weakness, and sterling looking stronger against the dollar, reflecting that dollar weakness also. And the same against the euro, sterling just climbing a little bit stronger, so sterling having a good start to the week. Looking at against the Swiss franc, recovering here as well, and against the Australian dollar, hitting 175. Really, this is almost looking like a 12-month high, just as we break above the 2017 high. Looking at the S&P 500, we're bullish above the cloud on all three time frames. The Nasdaq, we're looking bullish as well, and the Dow Jones just looking a little bit weaker, and the Russell 2000 actually recovering on Friday. Quite a good strong move there on Thursday, Friday, so back into positive territory. So US market looking pretty good. Futures down this morning, down to 0.2% on the S&P, and a similar amount on the Nasdaq E-mini, so we may see the US market just opening a little bit lower. FTSE's down, looking quite bearish. The UK market just looking very weak indeed, and about to activate this downside target of 5.5% on the short-term chart. No medium-term targets of that degree, but we are just seeing FTSE weakening. Long-term is still in a bullish trend, but it's really underperforming. FTSE 250, much the same picture. Looking at the DAX, we're bearish below the cloud here as well. So German stocks just falling away a little bit, and the Nikkei just weakening as well, just coming off. So we're seeing just a little bit of a global sell-off really. Hang Seng is holding on quite well. Shanghai did fall quite heavily last week, but is recovering overnight, up 1/3%. And the Sensex, also just having come off over the last week or so, is just staging a little bit of a recovery, but still bearish short term. The Australian market bearish in the short term as well, having run a long way in the last several weeks, just really coming back on that. And Brent Crude, looking at commodities now, Brent Crude recovering this morning through the cloud. Friday was a better day for Brent, and we are just seeing that recovery and trade. We've got an upside target of 64, which is about 2.8%. And quite a few targets into the 70s, so it does look like we're going to end the year on a stronger note. WTI also bullish through the cloud, no clear upside targets, but bullish on all three time frames. US nat gas sinking back towards that $3 level, has been bearish now for the last week or so, just really struggling to hold $3 whenever it breaks it. Copper also just in a sideways move here, just underperforming a little bit too. Taking a look at gold, gold had a big jump on Friday. We see here it really jumped. That gave us a new target activated. We've got 1309, 1315. I think it's safe to say if we see gold back above the $1,300 level, we'll start to see the gold bulls emerging, and it'd be interesting to see. We had a very strong start to the year in gold this year, and last year especially, the first few months, very strong performance. So we may be just heading into that seasonality as well. Silver just pulling back a little bit this morning, but still in bullish territory on the short medium charts. US Treasury yield sitting at 2.34%, just sitting in those mid 230s. Apple just weakening a little bit on Friday. So just coming off a little bit off the top. Google, much the same. We're just seeing tech just wandering south through the cloud on the short-term charts. Amazon holding on, and Facebook just struggling as well. Just really struggling to get into these 180s and stay there. And looking at Microsoft just coming off as well. So we are just seeing a slight deterioration in sentiment, even on US tech. But for the moment, the long-term trends are still pretty bullish. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.